Keith, let's dig in.
Well, we bought a house a year ago. We've talked about it on this show before. It's been about a year, and I think what's interesting is, my wife and I are fairly educated. We tried to research. When we thought about buying a house, we tried to do some steps, and we figured out a few things along the way. But there was so many things in there that we just didn't know because we hadn't bought a house before. It was our very first house, and your team and Dave did a great job. So why don't you talk about some of the steps if you are thinking about buying, maybe some of those different steps to get started at that?
Absolutely, it is. It can be a barrel of fish hooks, right? And knowing which ones to grab a hold of and not not hurt yourself along the way is definitely something that we look at. So the thing about it is there is a plan. So that's the good news. We actually have a specific plan that we can walk you through every single step of the way and exactly what you should do. So the nice thing about that is, well, you don't have to figure it out on your own. Yes, you can do research just like you and your wife did, and that's great. But when you've never done something, or maybe you haven't done it in 10 years or 15 years, and you've been in your home a long, long time, which 10 years seems like a long time.
Yeah.
But everything has changed in North Carolina in 10 years' time. Our contracts have changed. The way in which we do business is different than it was 10 years ago from a state level. So, having a plan, it can remove a lot of stress, which most people don't get real excited about. Hey, I want to buy a house and be totally stressed out, right?
That sounds like a great plan, Jason. Let's do that.
Yeah. So, and it's just, you don't have to. And so having those clear paths, it definitely can reduce the stress and the worry and all that with purchasing. So, the other thing is the most expensive part about buying a house is the mortgage. And most people don't factor that in because you don't really go shop for a mortgage to live in. You go shop for what? A house to live in. And so the mortgage is a necessary part of the equation for 90% of the public, get a mortgage when they purchase a home. But that's where the real cost is at. And so we want to make sure that you're an educated buyer and you know exactly what you're getting into, because that money's not free. Even though it seems pretty free right now with interest rates the way they are. I mean, they are amazing. But there is still a cost to that. And there's two different costs, right? There's the interest rate, which is pretty easy to research and figure that out, but there's other fees associated with the purchase as well, the cost of getting that money. So the first step to really put yourself in a place to win is to go talk to the bank or a mortgage company to figure out exactly what that's going to look at, because you're not going to make one payment on the house. Most people aren't, right? They're not going to write a check for $228,000. They're going to make monthly payments over a period of time, and we need to figure out what that looks like to fit into your budget, what that down payment looks like. The bank also charges fees, right, to borrow the money, and how much of that am I going to have to pay up front? And so there's just a lot of different things that we have to figure out in that first step, which also just empowers you and makes you a better educated buyer, right? You have confidence in making good decisions when you have all the information. So the other thing right now in this market, if you decided to go look at the house first without talking to the bank, and you got there and it was like, this is the one, this is my dream house, you're probably not going to get it because you're not prepared. You may not be able to move quick enough through the bank's steps to get pre-approved or pre-qualified to be able to deliver that information to the owner with your offer. Not that it takes weeks or months or anything like that to get pre-approved, but there's certain things and data that you have to have available: tax returns, W-2s, bank statements, all these things that the bank wants. And if you've never bought a house before, you probably don't even know that. And how quickly can you get those? And, of course, now with COVID, we've had people delay filing their taxes, right, because they've given extended times and different things like that. So first thing for you might be file your taxes, get that done. So as we go through each step, you start to gain more knowledge and understanding of the process and the system in which we've created, which gives you more peace of mind, right? And when you have peace of mind, you don't end up in that fearful, panic state. And so, the great thing is we do this every week, right? One thing, too, by getting this information, a lot of our buyers, when they talk to the bank, they actually end up switching price points in the house that they were considering to buy. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, based upon what's going to fit into their budget and the interest rate in which they were quoted, and or the cost and fees that are being charged, because money is finite, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have an unlimited supply. Us being me anyway, and so there is a limit to what you can do. And so this gives you a very powerful, proactive position to be in. And clarity is a good thing, right? You can always make better decisions when you have clarity. So, and the other thing is maybe you can't do exactly what you wanted to do right now. And so there's always got to be a plan A, move forward, buy a house. Plan B might be not yet. Maybe we need to save up some more money, fix a credit issue. Maybe if we fix a credit issue, we end up with a better interest rate, which allows us to actually buy the home we want. So there's a lot of factors in there. But speaking to your bank or your mortgage company is the best first step. No question about it. It gives you a great roadmap to make a good decision.